And now we have our last video. This is our extension questions. So again, as always, we're keeping in mind that extension is a little more challenging, but thankfully it is only 5% of our tests. But we want to go ahead and make every effort we can to do well in this. We'd like to get that extra 5 percentage points. So we're going to look at these last couple questions. It's just this page. And it extends us in a way that we are staying with the same topic, but makes it just a little bit more challenging. The first problem asks us to write the equation of a line passing through the point 2, 6, parallel again, and we know parallel means same slope, and that is parallel specifically to the line 3x minus 4y equals 16. To be able to write that line, we need to know the slope. And this time our equation we're given is not in slope-intercept form, so I can't see the slope right away. So the directions ask us to actually write the equation in slope-intercept form. This is something we've done before. We want to actually solve for y. Just like we've been doing with all our point-slope form equations and solving them for y. We're going to solve for y here in this, what we actually call the standard form. So we're going to take our equation that we have here. It's an equation, so we're going to separate it into two sides. And we're going to do what we can to get y alone. We undo any addition or subtraction first. And what we can undo by addition or subtraction is move this whole 3x term to the other side. It's a positive 3x, so we want to subtract 3x to be able to undo that from this side. And of course, then we need to do it on the other side as well. Okay, what we have left then on this left-hand side is negative 4y. On the right side, so that we actually have it written in our slope-intercept form, we want to go ahead and write the x value first. So we're going to put that in negative 3x first, and since 16 is positive, we're going to put plus 16. We're almost there. We want to get y alone, and right now we have negative 4 times y. So we're going to divide that negative 4 away from that left side, and then we need to do that on this right side as well. And again, we've been doing it this way recently, and I like that. So we'll divide each of those terms on the right by negative 4. And then we have left, and we'll go ahead and put our answer, we'll write it here, and then we'll rewrite it. We have y on the left side. On the right side, putting that fraction negative 3 over negative 4 into your calculator and then reducing it gives you positive 3 over 4 x. And then taking 16 and dividing by negative 4 gives me negative 4. So our equation in slope-intercept form, let's just write this up here so we can see it, is y equals 3/4 x minus 4. So now we have the equation written in slope-intercept form. That allows us to actually find the slope. So it asks, what is the slope of the line above? Well, I look at this equation, y equals m, remember m is our slope, x minus b. So that m value is our slope, so we get 3/4 for the slope of this original equation that we were given that was not in our slope-intercept form. But once we put it into slope-intercept form, we were able to identify the slope. Now we want to write the equation of the line passing through 2, 6, just like the original problem said, that has the same slope because the line we're looking for is parallel, and we said parallel means same slope. So we want to use the same slope as we had before, so our slope is 3/4, and it goes to the point 2, 6. So again, we use our point slope form. Y minus the y value of the point 6 equals slope 3/4 times x minus this x value, that x value of 2, and then we're going to do our work to put that in slope-intercept form. So as always, we're going to distribute. So that left side stays as y minus 6, the right side becomes 3/4 times the x, and then 3/4 times the minus 2 to get minus 3/2. And then to get that y alone, we're going to add 6. Sorry, I wrote minus, but we're going to add 6 to undo the minus 6. And we're going to add 6 here as well. That's our like term. We don't want to add it to the x. And then finally, we get that y alone. And we have our 3/4 x. And then negative 3/2 plus 6 gives us 9/2. And we have the equation of the line that is parallel to the original line that goes through the point 2, 6. Okay, that's our extension. I apologize, it's a little bit off the screen there. That is our extension, being able to actually do this same process, but working with a line that's given, not in slope-intercept form. Now here's another application of our concept of parallel and perpendicular lines. So we're looking at a rectangle. The problem states, let me move this up so we can see everything. There we go. It states that the fourth vertex of a rectangle ABC is missing on the grid below. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and then we have to find D, the fourth vertex of our rectangle. Somewhere over here would be a general idea of where that needs to be so that this is actually a rectangle. We know that a rectangle has 4 right angles, meaning that the sides are perpendicular. So using that concept, we want to find the location of that fourth point D. So we need to find perpendicular lines. If we need to find perpendicular lines, we need to know slopes. The first question asks us, what's the slope of AB? So here I look at line AB, and if I use those points, I always start with the left point, go to the right point, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1, 2. So my rise is -4, my run is 2. If I simplify that, I get -2. Then it asks us, what is the slope of line BC? Well, here's BC. The slope for line BC, well, if I go from B to C, that's from left to right. I go up 2 and right 4. So my slope is 2 over 4, which again reduces to 1/2. Well, we just read in the problem before that the sides are perpendicular. Let's double check to make sure that's correct here. We found that this side AB has a slope of -2. It needs to be perpendicular to this side BC, and that side has a slope of 1/2. The question we need to ask ourselves is, are those opposite reciprocals? Well, here I look at -2 and I went to +1/2. There's the opposite piece. We went from a negative to a positive. Reciprocals means we're going to flip it. 2 as a fraction is 2 over 1. Flipping that becomes 1 over 2. So they are opposites and reciprocals. Those are perpendicular. So we know that these two are perpendicular. Now we need to draw in our missing sides so that they are perpendicular to the side that's consecutive or next to it. So it says draw a line perpendicular to the line AB through point A. So here's AB, and we said AB had a slope of -2. So we need to draw a line through A that has a slope that's perpendicular to line AB. So this new slope needs to have the opposite and reciprocal, which we already determined, is positive and 1/2. So I need a line here that has a slope of positive 1/2 that goes through this A. So going up 1 and over 2, do that a few times so I can get a nice line. And then I draw my line. Pull out my ruler here. And I draw my line that is perpendicular to AB that goes through that point A. We're going to repeat this process for our line BC, and we want to go through point C. BC has a slope of 1/2. To be perpendicular to 1/2, it has to have a slope of -2. So going through C, I need a slope of -2, so down 2 and over 1. Down 2 over 1. Okay, a couple points are enough to help me draw a nice, neat line. There's my line. And now I see I actually have the rectangle drawn. It says where do where the two lines intersect is point D, so we're going to call that D right here. And we want to know what that point is. And so we're going to label that point D. That point D is at the coordinates of right 2 and down 1, so that gives us an x value of 2 and a y value of -1. That is our point D is, because that's what the original question is looking for. Find the location of the fourth vertex D. And so we found our point D at 2, -1. Okay, that's our extension. What I'd like you to do for the remainder of our time that we have here today in class is to finish up your practice 2. So at this point in time, you can keep your notes out to help you, but I would like you to go back and finish practice 2. That's what you will do for the remainder of our class. Thank you.